The NCAA transfer portal will open back up for activity tonight, April 15th at midnight. It will stay that way until April the 30th. While there undoubtedly will be some surprises for Florida State, as with all college programs, there are also some positions where we can predict potential departures and arrivals. To help you prepare for this portal window, we are breaking down Florida State's current roster by position and taking an overall scholarship count. This report is by Ira Schafel on Warchant.com. We want to note at the outset, it's difficult to be 100% accurate with scholarship breakdowns because occasionally there are players who are believed to be walk-ons who are placed on scholarship and vice versa. Based upon the breakdown that we're about to get to, Florida State has an estimated 78 scholarship players on campus this spring following last week's announced departure of defensive back Greedy Vance. The Seminoles also are expected to have 9 additional members of their 2024 freshman class arriving this summer. That number of 9 summer enrollees could actually be 10 if place kicker Jake Weinberg arrives on campus on scholarship, but he likely, Weinberg that is, will be Ryan Fitzgerald's replacement in 2025. Also remember that Harvard offensive line transfer Jacob Rizzi is expected to be added to the roster after the spring semester. So when you count the players on campus and the enrollees coming this spring and summer, Florida State's projected roster count is as high as 89 unless there is attrition during the spring portal window, people on the export market. 89 is 4 over the 85 scholarship limit under normal circumstances, but that discrepancy could be closer to 6 or 7 because remember, Florida State is facing NCAA mandated scholarship reductions and the Seminoles have to reduce their count by 5 total scholarships over the next 2 years. If the Seminoles weren't looking to add any players through the transfer portal, then they would still probably need 6 or 7 players to leave to get down into the low 80s. But if FSU head coach Mike Norvell does want to add a few pieces, and we expect him to, then the level of transfers leaving the program could reach around 10. Where will those departures come from? The most likely candidates are players who have been in the program for multiple years and have yet to claim a starting role or even crack the 2-deep depth chart. With that in mind, here we go. Let's take a look at the scholarship breakdown at each position, followed by analysis of potential attrition. At quarterback, you have 1 senior in DJ Uiagalelei, no juniors, no sophomores, a redshirt freshman in Brock Glenn, and a true freshman in Luke Kromenhawk. We should note that 2024 walk-on signee, PWO signee Trevor Jackson has joined the Seminoles, and he is on campus this spring, and he's expected to be placed on scholarship at a later date. It's not clear when that is going to happen. Running backs, you have 6 of them, seniors Lawrence Toafili, Roydell Williams, and Keziah Holmes, junior Jalen Lucas, no sophomores, 2 freshmen on campus already in Cam Davis and Sam Singleton Jr., and 2024 signee Makai Danzy is expected to enroll at FSU this summer. Ira's analysis says it's difficult to envision a scenario where FSU carries 7 running backs into the 2024 season. At the same time, it's even harder to predict which player might leave. The 4 upperclassmen are expected to be major contributors on offense, and it would be very early to see one of the younger backs depart Tallahassee. Probably a position worth monitoring for potential movement, although there could be none at all. At wide receiver, 12 scholarship players at present. Seniors Ja'Kai Douglas, Kentron Poitier, Deuce Spann, Malik Benson, and Darion Williamson. No juniors. At sophomores, you have Destin Hill and Hakeem Williams. Freshmen, you have Jalen Brown, Loane McCoy, Vandravius Jacobs, BJ Gibson, and Camden Fryer, with 2024 signee Elijah Moore expected to enroll this summer. Ira's analysis says, with this being a pretty crowded segment group, it seems likely that a couple of receivers will move on in search of more playing time. And as suggested before, any movement likely would come from the large group of seniors. Florida State currently has 5 tight ends, seniors Kyle Morlock, juniors Jackson West and Brian Courtney, sophomore Jarrell Powers, and freshman Landon Thomas. Ira's analysis. This group is very difficult to project. It could stay as is, or there could be a departure, especially if talented freshman Landon Thomas passes the older players on the depth chart. And if the Seminoles look to add an experienced blocking tight end, there could also be a departure. On the offensive line, Florida State has 14 scholarship players, seniors Robert Scott, Maurice Smith, Jeremiah Byers, Richie Leonard, Keandre Jones, and Darius Washington. Their juniors are TJ Ferguson and Bryson Estes. Sophomores are Jalen Early and Julian Armella. Freshmen are Ty Hilton, Andre Otto, Jaden Todd, and Lucas Simmons. Jonathan Daniels and Monesi Ititi are expected to enroll this summer, and Harvard transfer Jacob Rizzi is expected to enroll this summer as a junior. Ira's analysis. With 17 offensive linemen currently projected for the fall roster, it seems likely that 1 or 2 will look elsewhere. And the most likely candidates are veterans who are concerned about not starting or at least being in the top 8 rotation. If FSU looks to bring in another offensive tackle, which is also possible, then there could be 2 or 3 departures on the offensive line. Florida State has 7 defensive ends on scholarship: senior Sione Lolohea, juniors Marvin Jones Jr., Patrick Payton, Jaden Jones, and Byron Turner Jr., sophomore Aaron Hester, and freshman Lamont Green Jr. 2024 signees D.D. Holmes and Amari Williams are expected to enroll for Florida State as freshmen this summer. Analysis is, this group feels similar to the tight end position. It could definitely stand pat, or there could be a departure, especially if the Seminoles look to add another proven pass rusher from the portal. Defensive tackles, there are 6 of them for Florida State, no seniors. A trio of juniors in Joshua Farmer, Daryl Jackson, and Grady Kelly. 2 sophomores, Tomiwa Durajaye and Daniel Lyons, and freshman KJ Sampson. True freshman signees incoming for the fall, Danaz White and Jamori Flagg, expected to enroll this summer. Here's Ira's analysis, and pay attention to this one. Any attrition from this group would be unexpected, as it wouldn't be a surprise if the Seminoles added another interior lineman if the right fit emerged in the portal. How that shakes out could impact whether Durajaye plays primarily defensive end or defensive tackle. The West Virginia transfer has worked at both spots this spring. Florida State is carrying 8 linebackers on scholarship at present. All are on campus. Senior DJ Lundy, no juniors. Sophomores, a quartet of players in Omar Graham, Sean Murphy, Blake Nicholson, and Justin Cryer, and 3 freshmen in DeMarco Ward, Tamir Hickman Collins, and Jaden Parrish. Ira's analysis: any attrition from this group would be unexpected. FSU seemed interested in adding another linebacker through the transfer portal back in December, but improvement from that large sophomore group during the spring could have cooled FSU's interest. Defensive backs, Florida State has 15 of them, 3 seniors in Kevin Noles, Devontae Brown, and Fentrell Cypress, juniors Shaheem Brown and Azarie Thomas, sophomores Earl Little, Conrad Hussey, Quindarius Jones, and Ashland Barker, and freshmen Charles Lester, Kai Bates, Jamari Howard, KJ Kirkland, Jabril Rawls, Edwin Joseph, and 2024 signee Ricky Knight is expected to join that group this summer. Ira's analysis: with so much depth and experience, it would not be a surprise to see at least one more defensive back entering the portal, joining Greedy Vance. FSU plays a lot of defensive backs, but there likely will be 1 or 2 older players who don't figure into the main rotation, and they would be the most likely candidates to depart. Finally, we have our specialists, 2 seniors in Ryan Fitzgerald and Alex Mastromano. Again, 2024 signee Jake Weinberg is expected to enroll in the summer. Not typical for a backup kicker to be on scholarship. That is the breakdown of where Florida State stands right now. For updates on the transfer portal, whether Florida State has players exporting the program or they're looking to import some talent from around the country, make sure to stay subscribed here to Warchant TV and subscribe to warchant.com for the latest information on transfer portal coverage for Florida State football. Florida State Spring Showcase is Saturday, April 20th, a final practice shortly thereafter, so within the next week, you should start to hear names for Florida State players if they're going to leave the program, entering their name into the transfer portal. We will keep you up to date for who's coming to Tallahassee to visit and explore whether Florida State is their next destination. Thanks for watching Warchant TV.